Here is something about LLCs you need to know because it can cause real problems if you handle it incorrectly. And most owners don't even realize they made a choice when it comes to this. So when you form an LLC, you're deciding whether it's member manage or manager manage. And most people don't even think about it. They just click whatever the default option is on the Secretary of State's website. And legally, how the courts view your LLC, that decision matters a lot. It changes a lot about the default rules the court places on your LLC. And so in a member managed LLC, every owner has authority to bind the company. And that means that any member can sign contracts, take on obligations, even make decisions on behalf of the business unless your operating agreement says otherwise. And a lot of times, if you're not paying attention to this, you likely don't even have an operating agreement. So the default rule is going to apply in a manager managed LLC. Authority is centralized. So only the designated manager or managers can act for the company, and members are more like owners than operators. And so this really shows up and really becomes important is when something goes wrong, when there's a contract that wasn't meant to be binding, there's a decision that's made. And I've seen situations where one member signs a deal that others didn't approve, and everyone's shocked when it turns out the company is legally bound now. But from the law's perspective, that member has what's called apparent authority to bind the company. And so apparent authority means the person who signed that agreement with them thought they could do that they could bind the company. And courts don't look at what the LLC meant to allow. They look at what authority the structure created and what third parties reasonably relied on, and that's that apparent authority. And so it affects liability, fiduciary duties, internal disputes. The expectations are different depending on how the LLC is managed. Even if no one ever talked about it out loud or in a meeting or a decision was made, if you check that box, that's what you are. And so the bigger point is that your LLC and the LLC law assumes you were intentional about your structure. And if you weren't, the default rules step in, and defaults are very rarely tailored to how people actually run their business. And so this is one of those areas where nothing feels wrong until suddenly it is. And by then you're arguing about authority after it's already been exercised and everything's already been signed.